When you hear the sound of the bell, you know you're in the championship rounds with King Amin of Essex. So let's get to it. It's been a while, for some very good reason. Things are going good professionally for me. And by the way, I don't do this by mean content creation professionally. The fighters have a difficult time turning a coin off of boxing, so I certainly do not turn any coin off of this. This is purely a passion project. But can't feed the baby's passion. So while I've been gone, certainly I've missed a few things, but haven't missed much. So let me tell you what I saw. I did see O'Shea Jones mentioned something about retirement. It's probably a bluff, probably not getting many good offers for her title, despite being a world champion, unified world champion at that. So go figure. I seen the whole thing with Clarissa Shields and the failed drug to whatever. Nah, I ain't worried about that. What I seen most importantly, and it kind of ties into what we got going on this weekend, is I seen a young lady by the name of Elif Nur Turan from Turkey. She had a first round knockout over the highly touted Irish prospect Shauna Brown. Shauna, yeah. So yeah, man, that was great. And what's funny about that, this young lady, Nur Turan. I just call her Turan Alif. I don't know, but I do know she has been figured into the discussion as far as 135. I believe somehow or another she's working her way towards a mandatory situation against either, I'm guessing, Caroline Dubois, could be Terry Harper, or could be Beatrice Freire. Right now, let's talk about Terry Harper first. Terry Harper. Um, she's in a good title defense and she deserves a bit of a victory lap. She's in her against an opponent, Natalie Zimmerman out of Germany, 42-year-old Natalie Zimmerman out of Germany. Never fought nobody that you or I know. But again, Harper deserves a victory lap. That bout is May. She gets to defend her title, three division champion. Again, in preparation for what may turn out to be a defense against maybe a rematch against Dixon, Rhiannon Dixon, that is, maybe a unification against Beatrice Ferreira, since those three names that I just mentioned, Harper, Dixon, and Ferreira, are all with Matchroom. Um, the aforementioned Elif Nur Turan could be figured into that discussion. Just fought on Matchroom. They could bring her back specifically for that to get in the mix. Maybe Turan and Dixon, duke it out. So that's pretty good at 135. What has been some of the discussion about what Caroline Dubois isn't doing, which we'll talk about what she is doing this weekend? The fight with Beatrice Ferreira. Some people like to believe it's a duck. And I can't say it's a duck. I can say that is artful dodging. I will say that. I believe, with the position that she's worked herself in, and I got to make the point of waiting patiently. How can you really be a duck if you were waiting to fight Katie Taylor? Right? Katie Taylor was the one that decided she had other business. So, if you're waiting to fight Katie Taylor, I don't know how you duck Ferreira. Because, by the way, Ferreira, yes, is a big puncher, but the reach disadvantage she has against Dubois, and she ain't been knocking shit loose like she came in the game. So again, I'm not disparaging any, certainly a skilled fighter, world class Olympian, but I don't think Dubois has to duck, more so than maybe she has the right to avoid that fight for what may seemingly be more lucrative ones. All right. This is the business of boxing. And shout out to my man Miguel Rios. I want to make sure I get his name right. Yeah, because a good brother gave me some perspective on the impact of, yeah, my man Miguel Rios, the impact of sometimes these fights have to be generated necessary evils in order to grow the sport, right? So maybe Dubois and Bumgarner, maybe Dubois and Harper as a UK fight makes more sense for Dubois, and maybe in the longer run of women's boxing, right? Now we're talking about what's happening with Dubois. Of course, she's fighting on this weekend's card. We talked about what's happening with Harper, right? Don't know yet what's happening with Ferreira, so we'll have to see what Eddie Hearn is going to do with her. All right. Moving along, let's talk about necessary evils. Amanda Serrano, Katie Taylor, the trilogy is happening. Necessary evil. I'm not going to disparage the fight because again, it's going to be, and this will only be the third occasion, the second occurring this weekend where you have an all women's card from top to bottom. So 2 times in the UK, the first time in the United States with Taylor Serrano headlining in New York City. That should be a great one. Can't wait to see how they flesh out the rest of the card. But necessary evil, because man, Chantel Cameron deserves her trilogy. The only fighter that has a real win over Kate. Like, come on. I just don't understand it. But I do understand the necessary evils. Casual fans will tune into the second fight, third fight on Netflix, New York City. Yeah, man. I don't want to see this fight, but I'm gonna watch the entire card, of course. Hey man, sometimes you got to put the medicine in the candy, as the expression goes. All right. Um, Micaiah Krebs, 9-0 prospect out of the Niagara Falls, upstate New York area. She is in action, has a very solid win over Malin Rivas, also wins over Melissa Odessa Parker, India Smith. So she's a hell of a prospect, really should be a contender, really deserves a title shot. I believe she fights at 122. She's in her against Danielle Bennett. This fight will also be in upstate New York, so it's really much a hometown affair. Bennett is 9-2 with 2 KOs. Her biggest win, though, is over a current world champion, but not at the time. I'm talking about one chicken, Sharetta Metcalf, y'all. You know, that's my people's. So yeah, Bennett does have that win, and so that means, she caught, Metcalf early in the game, but again, these girls have gone on to do different things. Bennett, of course, moving up to 122, and Metcalf becoming a world champion. So, can't wait to see if Micaiah Krebs will get the win over Bennett en route to becoming a world champion, or will Bennett sidetrack Krebs' world championship aspirations? We will have to see. Also gonna have to see this Yokasta Valle versus Marlon Esparza. With all due respect, I don't know how Esparza is gonna make the weight. I thought she had a difficult time, making weight in her last fight. So yeah, man. But Yokasta Valle is all action, ready for it. And coincidentally, again, this may just be a cash out golden boy type situation as far as one more fight on a contract. They need to bring Valle back. Valle's had two kind of scarcely televised bouts on ESPN KO, or what's that some the Argentinian sports channel TYC. Like, you really had to go and find it. But you don't have to go find this one. I forgot, it's not going to be the main event, but I believe it will be the co-feature for Tevin Farmer versus William Zepeda, the rematch. So this should be a good val. I'm expecting Valle to win handedly. I must say, because again, Esparza is going to have some issues making weight, and Valle is going to tear that ass up. Valle is going to attack her, rush her, put the pressure on her, punch on her. It's going to be a great fight, and Valle is going to look good doing it, as she always does. Now, what this also does, because Kim Clavel fought just last week, as Future and Big Crit would say, and she fought at 105, no longer, or maybe using the desire to get back vengeance against Evelyn Bermudez, who's fighting this weekend. But Clavel fighting at 105. She beat what's a girl name? Annabelle, what's shorty name? Annabelle Ortiz, who's a former WBA champion at 105. So with Clavel seemingly moving down and getting that win over the former champion, she's likely to put herself in a position to face Valle for the WBC title that Valle holds. Or maybe Clavel will go out and grab that IBF title and meet up for a unification. I don't know, but interesting turn of events. And guess what? I like it. All right. I really do. Also, turn of events, Tiny Tina Rupert, whose only loss is to Senicia Estrada at 105. Tina Rupert is now the atomweight champion. That's 102 pounds, ladies and gentlemen. She's a WBC and WBO. She'll be in a unification bout for the IBF against Japanese fighter Sumiri Yamanaka. I don't know, but somebody is going to that's going to be a good bout. I hope somebody's going to get the television rights to this one so we can see it stateside. If not, I have to pull out some stops to check it out. All right. So, some scuttlebutt online between and I don't really know what division these ladies will meet in, but if somehow, some way we could get some combination of Shadeja Green, she's a WBO champion at 168, the unified champion WBC and WBA champion at 168, Franchon Cruz, and also she's also the former undisputed champion in that same division, and Clarissa Shields. Between the three of these ladies, in some combination, love to see them all fight. Don't know if it's going to happen, but the temperature's rising. All right. Temperature's rising. Now, let's talk about what's happening this weekend. Let's get to it. A little bit unorthodox, a little bit raw. I'm not as prepped. I'm finding my rhythm, so I'm gonna this one probably not as well researched as some other episodes, but the information is there, and I'm going to give it to you off the top of the head. I'm not, I didn't write any bars down, so to speak. So let's just talk about the main event, Natasha Jonas versus Lauren Price. When someone asked me, I initially said Lauren Price, and I still feel like the youth, the power. But when I thought about it, man, the Southpaw veteran could slow down the young upstart. Price does leave her guard down when she's throwing those combinations, as powerful as they may be, and she could get caught standing still. Um, I don't know, man. Let me just do this. I'll pick Jonas. I know I picked Price. I'm just gonna pick Jonas. I'm gonna pick the sage wisdom, the veteran, and I'm going to, because we've seen this before. Is this gonna be another Harper Dixon? It could be. And Price, the only thing is that if Price is power, because it certainly isn't about the technique. Um, Jonas isn't operating. She's got power of her own. Definitely enough that I think that maybe Price hasn't felt from any of her opponents. So yeah, I'm gonna go with the seasoned vet in this one. Nothing against Price because I'm actually going the other way. So they might split one for the household, but we'll talk about that in a second. The co-main event, of course, Caroline Dubois versus Bomiri Shin. That is probably not the opponent that you guys want to see her against, but as I said before, building up towards something a bit bigger. I could understand that. Trying to maintain her equity. What? It's a title defense. And by the way, respectfully, she demolished Jessica Camara. That bout was a fluke technical draw, but she demolished a solid world-class fighter in Jessica Camara. So again, it's not easy to say Caroline Dubois is a duck, because if you look at the people that she's fought and how she's won, and I don't know if you can call her a duck. She seems like she's ready for all the smoke. And Shin better be ready for the smoke in this one. Better be ready, because Dubois, I believe, is going to try to make a statement, especially in light of all the comparisons or, the duck talk in reference to Ferreira. All right. Now, I told you about the Price household. The other half of that household, Caddis Artingstall, is in there against Raven Chapman. Chapman is a hell of a fighter, but Artingstall, I believe, is a little bit more faster to the punch. Now, Chapman just came off a recent experience with Sky Nicholson. Usually that's a bit of an education, learning. So one may think the experience edge could go to Chapman. However, I believe Artingstall's also got a little bit of power that can really kind of throw off Chapman's game, and I think they're kind of similar in that way. Artingstall is a rhythm fighter, but she'll sneak that power in there and kind of disrupt you. So, and definitely she can move. She's got great footwork. So yeah, and I believe she's a southpaw. I'm not exactly sure. Let me double check. I knew it. Yeah. Chapman, you're gonna have problems because you just had problems with a very skilled southpaw, Sky Nicholson. So yeah, this is gonna be, and again, this won't take away nothing off Chapman, but this will do a ton of due diligence for Artingstall. So, yeah, I think I'm going with Artingstall on that one. I usually don't do picks, but I'm just kind of, feeling my way through this one. And another fight that I believe both fighters will be feeling their way through. Chloe Watson, she ain't trying to lose to Jasmine Zapokina, the upset-minded Zapokina. And I don't know. Do I like Watson? And that's for a European title. I'm not gonna pick in that one, but what I will say is Watson better not lose any early rounds because I think Zapoknik is gonna jump on her, at least pressure her and kind of lure Watson into some unnecessary action and then counter her. So you could see some of those swing rounds around you might think Watson should have taken advantage of. Zapoknica could be the one to pull off an upset, right? Now, intriguing bout, and I'm sorry, Cynthia Gambia, she's not going to be fighting on this card. Uh, Learned that I think it was an illness or something that's preventing her from fighting. So yeah, that's that. Christy Bavington was supposed to be in that card. Bavo, but we got Francesca Hennessy. She grew up before our eyes in that last fight, a unanimous decision win. And I believe that momentum is going to continue. However, she does have a sturdy veteran and Gemma Rueg in front of her. Rueg has fought in everybody that means anything right now in UK women's boxing. And so this is almost like a rite of passage for Hennessy. All right. So, and I believe she'll do well. But she's going to have to earn that rite of passage. So definitely can't wait to see Fran Hennessy back in action. Now, also this weekend, returning back to action, Chucky Alanes, Celeste Alanes, all right? Gabriela Celeste Alanes. She recently lost her unified titles to the now undisputed champion, Gabriela Fundora. Alanes is in action this weekend in her first bout since the loss to Fundora. You also have some action on what is the most valuable promotions? That's the Jake Paul outfit. You have undercard action. I believe one of the bouts may even be a co-feature. I'm talking about Sarah Bailey. She's a atom weight. No, she's a light flyweight contender, 5-0. I believe she had some sort of WBA or WBC International or Oceanic. I'd be making them shits up. But she's in there against 6-2 Christina Navarro from Spain. Should be Bailey is 5-0. Just to see her in action is pretty good. She's still what I call a developing prospect. But talking about developing prospects, moving her fast as well. Tam Thibault out of Canada. She is in action on this card. Bailey's out of Canada as well. This is a Canuck card. But what's her name? Thibault? Yeah. But yeah, I'm not saying it facetiously. I'm just trying to make sure I get it correct. But she's in action against a fighter's fighter, Sonia Drilling, who she does bare knuckle and she does boxing. She back-to-back fights with O'Shea Jones once upon a time. And that was at 154. This fight with Tam Thibault, former Canadian Olympian, will be at middleweight and it will be at 3-minute rounds. So expect that one to be entertaining. Not sure what else we got going on this week, but not going to spend too much time on the more obscure action. Just, wanted to take the time to reconnect with you guys and also give you a little bit more in-depth fight week preview right before the fights, which are tomorrow. Again, that's yeah, in a couple hours for lots of you. All right. So in the UK, I'm so happy that this fight is on a Friday. So yeah, very, very, very exciting times. And um, yeah, that's it right now, ladies and gentlemen. So Digest this one slowly. Don't scarf it down. It may hurt your little bellies. All right. I appreciate you taking the time to check in with me, and I'll certainly check in with you. And we all have to make sure that we maintain the integrity of women's boxing. I walked away for a little bit. Don't be doing no bullshit when I'm going, and I'm talking to all of you. No bullshit on my watch. You know what I'm saying? Keep this house clean when I'm gone. All right. Daddy's home. All right. You guys have a great weekend.